One more story on the day. The New York Jets lose again to the New England Patriots. I think it's like 12 years now that the New York Jets are incapable of beating the New England Patriots. Maybe 11, 12 years. Doesn't matter. I know it's a decade plus. That's not good. It looks bad. It's almost like a guaranteed win. Julian Edelman joked on the herd that he was a Jets fan too because he got a win and he had really good stats in those games. It's kind of comical, although you do feel for Jets fans who have just been waiting for a long time, a decade plus, to really be relevant again in the NFL. And at this point, that leads me with one conclusion. Zach Wilson sucks. There, mic drop. It's not a newsflash, right? No one in here was still holding out hope that Zach Wilson was going to be good. He's not good. He's not good enough to be a backup. I'm not so sure he's even good enough to be a third stringer. Zach Wilson is just really bad at the game of football, at least at the professional level. And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, listen, the Jets, be proactive, give up more picks. It's going to hurt. Go get Kyler Murray. Just go get Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals. Overpay for him. The Cardinals will be tanking. You got to make it worth their while. And you didn't do that. And I understand it was already a slim chance to begin with. I'm not going to really harp on the fact that they didn't go get Kyler Murray, give up 2 first-round picks, and make everyone happy as the Cardinals go tank. But that's officially out the window. The Cardinals are not tanking. They're a lot better than we thought, especially at that point when I made the video. We just know the Arizona Cardinals, they're better than they are. And now the Kyler Murray thing just seems preposterous. It's crazy. It's not going to happen. I thought, you know what? Gardner Minshew, he just had a good week against the Ravens. He's more than capable. He's a lot better than Zach Wilson. And, I understand Gardner Minshew as a longtime starter wasn't amazing. He wasn't great. And he's probably not going to win you a Super Bowl. And that's probably the only reason why you would trade for Gardner Minshew. At this point, and we've seen this kind of float around, I'm not going to act like I'm the first person. Oh, big brain move. I know exactly what's going on. I don't. But I am going to follow suit here because it doesn't make a lot of sense. The Jets need to go get Kirk Cousins. The Vikings are 0-3. The Minnesota Vikings are absolutely flailing. They are not going to make the playoffs. There's only been one team since, I believe, 2000 who has made the playoffs after starting 0-3. Do you know it? I'll give you a second. 1, 2, 3. 2018 Houston Texans. There's your bar trivia if you go into a sports trivia night later on this week and they ask you that question. What was the only team that has been 0-3 and made the playoffs over the last 15 years? Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson and company. Very weird year. AFC South wasn't very good, but I digress. The Vikings are flailing. Kirk Cousins wants to win. We saw on quarterback, he literally has a mantle made already for a Super Bowl trophy. Kirk Cousins wants to win. And the New York Jets do make sense. And I think the New York Jets should absolutely go get Kirk Cousins. Guys, this team is too talented. It's not right. It almost feels immoral if you're the front office to not go out there and at least give your team a chance to win. And Kirk Cousins, he's probably not going to win you a Super Bowl, especially in an AFC where you got to go through Joe Burrow. Tua Tagovailoa looks like an MVP candidate right now. Who knows if Joe Burrow and the Bengals can get it figured out, or whoever else in the AFC. Lamar Jackson, it's loaded over there. But you have to give your team a fighting chance. Go give up a second rounder. Go give up a third rounder. I don't know what it's going to take to get Kirk Cousins. Maybe a second rounder is an overpay. But a mid-round pick, go make it happen. This team is too talented. Garrett Wilson, guys like Alan Lazard, good players on this team, good veterans in Randall Cobb. The offensive line needs work. Dalvin Cook is a good second-string back. Breece Hall is a good every down back, although we know he's still trying to get his legs under him. The defense is just, awesome. Robert Saleh's got those guys humming. But that brings me over to Robert Saleh. If I'm Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, I'm fighting for my job here, guys. Joe Douglas has made a lot of dumb moves as the general manager. Oh, yeah, he's done a lot of cool things like going and getting some good late-round players. Breece Hall is a good pick. Sauce Gardner is a good pick. Zach Wilson was abysmal. This is just one of the issues for the New York Jets. They haven't been competitive in a few years, and if you have Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh still there, heads are going to roll. If you don't make the playoffs, if you have another abysmal season, saying we didn't have Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry, is not going to cut it in New York. It's just not going to cut it. Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas are fighting for their lives. Go and get Kirk Cousins. Give your team a chance to win. And if you go get Kirk Cousins, especially after the year he had last year and the year he's having this year, you could make the playoffs with Kirk Cousins. You might even win a game with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has a playoff win on his resume. It's not like he's one of these quarterbacks who's never won a game in the playoffs. It makes sense. But if you take it over to the Kirk Cousins side, there's a lot of reasons why he wouldn't want to go there. He has a family, a house in Minnesota. You don't want to up and move your family to New York for 6 months. He's got a no-trade clause last year in his contract. And also, does it bode well for him as a possible free agent to go out there as a quarterback behind a bad offensive line? He's still trying to make money here. And if he can't get the ball out in time, he could veto that trade too. And also, Kirk Cousins ain't replacing Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is coming through that door in 6-7 months. And Kirk Cousins ain't replacing him. That doesn't bode well for Kirk Cousins. But if you're the New York Jets, you do your best sales pitch to Kirk Cousins because you are flailing. You are on a sinking ship, and there are not a lot of life rafts available, meaning there are not a lot of quarterbacks available to come and save you. The New York Jets are flailing hard, and their last chance and their last effort to really turn this season around is going and getting Kirk Cousins.